realize that we're here. You know what I'm saying? We all go through it. We all had our like our doubts. Like, wow, am I really gay? Like, am I really like is this really like me?
Mm-hmm.
And we understand it's hard, especially for people who brought up in religious homes, people who brought up in predominantly male homes, and they still end up being gay because people think that matters. But we here for you.
That's very true.
And
People
we
always
love
say
you.
that. It's like just because you're born in a single mother household that
You're
you're
gonna be
you're
gay.
end up gay. But look, here's a testimony moment for you. I was raised in a single mother household, and even when my stepfather did come around, we didn't have the best relationship. So I was raised by my mother, my grandmother, my aunts, and the real father figures in my life were my grandpa and Boy Scout leaders. So by this science that they've formulated, I should be gay, but here I am, a straight man.
Hetero can be.
So it's like it's going against that grain in a way.
Yeah.
And also before, because we're getting towards the end of our short time here, like how do you feel about there being an organization here? I asked Desmond to say this too. An organization here that's similar to perhaps the Gay Straight Alliance that allows people of your community, the LGBTQ plus community, to have a voice, and even perhaps when they are harassed, just to go to a group of people that they feel comfortable in. Like, do you feel that is one necessary?
That is too necessary.
And then like two, why isn't it here?
Like, that is so necessary. And I heard we had it before, but obviously it's gone. But it was a long time ago. But we need it, and it'll be more than what people think. When people think LGBT club, they gonna think, oh, they gonna always be on campus rallying, they gonna be spreading AIDS, like ignorant stuff. It'll be, they don't understand, like, in our community, we really for each other. Y'all may see us be catty with each other, y'all may see us do this, do that, but we really are here for each other. You know what I'm saying? It'll be a home. It'll be a place of peace, like somewhere where we are people that they could come to and they could relate to. They could come talk to us, spill to us, and we could help them in any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? I feel like that'll be great. Because, I mean, especially if they feel like some of their leaders on campus are unapproachable or they just out of reach. I want to talk to someone who's just like me. You know what I'm saying? And who understands and who could steer me right, wrong.
Yeah. And I was just thinking, like, perhaps within, because I'm not familiar with SGA and their structure, but if there's not an organization, and I feel like perhaps this should be like a given. Maybe there needs to be a committee within SGA that's just for that. You know what I mean? Because it's 2020, and sexuality isn't something you can sweep under the rug anymore. And I feel like if the government has a committee or they have a body just about sexuality, shouldn't our own student government have the same thing? I don't know if they do, and if there is one, they're not doing anything. And I feel like a lot of SGA people aren't doing anything. But that's a whole different podcast.
Well, I don't know either, but, it'll be nice. You know what I'm saying? Just to have somewhere to go to, people to talk to, people who understand you, people who will be genuine with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have no reason to lie to me. You have no reason to sugarcoat anything for me. Like, let me know it's real. Like, no matter what, you know what I'm saying? Maybe, God forbid, a gay person get harassed on campus or get beat or anything. Come to us, like the open door policy. You know what I'm saying?
Open door policy. Just walk right in, right?
100% confidentiality, though.
And also, I just want to circle back and it's homophobia. And I just want to ask the question, why homophobia? Like, how would you respond to that? Just the simple question, why homophobia? Why phobia?
Because people scary. I'm scared of spiders. Ignorance. They're afraid. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to accept us who we are, and they feel as if hating us is the best way to...
And what would you say they're really afraid of? If you were to... Like, would you say they're afraid maybe it's going to rub off on me? Or it's like, my children?
They think it's contagious. And I was definitely about to say, they just feel as if they are around gay people, then...
Like a disease almost?
Yeah. They're going to turn gay, or they're going to get an STD, or, ignorant, offensive stuff. That a lot of us, like, people like me, I'll laugh at it, but others would get upset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, I grew up, I realized, I still laugh at it, but I realized I can't just laugh at it. You know what I'm saying? Because other people are dealing with this, and they don't know how to deal with it. And it's just, I don't know. I can't make people,
Make people feel confident.
Yeah, like, they gotta be in your heart. You know what I'm saying? You gotta want to learn. Like, that's like having a homophobic family member, but when they like, and that family member is your favorite, but when they find out that you're gay, and it's like, okay, everything changes.
It flips.
It flips. Like, wow, like you live in that life. I'm gonna treat you differently. Like I'm just different. You know what I'm saying? And I just think, like I said, it's just ignorance. They don't know, and they aren't willing to learn about it and understand. Like I said, I don't feel as if you are ignorant, because I only call people ignorant when they just stuck in their ways. When they're
yeah, that's true. Because when we sat down a couple days ago, I told him, like, look, man, I'm ignorant about this, so I need you to like break down these walls. He's like, you're not ignorant. It's like, I'm pretty sure I am.
It's like, because you're willing to learn. You know what I'm saying?
I feel
like
that.
You don't know everything right now, but you still consider yourself an ally. You know what it means to be an ally, and you know.
Yeah, and also I want to talk about, because I feel like a lot of people, and I have people in my family who would say, just by me being an ally, therefore I'm gay, which isn't true. Like, what would you say to those people? It's like people who are straight and they just understand that it's human rights. Do you think they should be judged in that way? I mean, I'm pretty sure I know your answer, but
no, of course not. No, because they're spreading the love. They're using y'all. It's just like y'all using y'all privilege. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's like a freaking white person seeing a black person get mistreated by another white person, and that white person speak up. You know what I'm saying? That's just all it is. You using your privilege, you using your voice.
Straight privilege. You should coin that term. Straight privilege. Start a whole brand, a clothing brand.
But yeah, it's just y'all using y'all voice to help us.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just amplifying and just highlighting on what needs to be talked about.
And I think what I've learned, or I'd say what I can take from this is just respect. You know, and I'm trying to, because I don't really understand. I'm still trying to grasp it. Maybe I need to interview a straight person who is very homophobic so I can understand their mindset.
Yeah.
Because I really don't get it. I'm really just sitting here trying to grasp it. Because, I understand. See, now I've interviewed you and Desmonte, so now I have an understanding of what you feel. And, and it's pretty much like, we're unbothered. Like, you're saying, like, we're unbothered, and all we really care about is respect. So now it's like the next step, I'd say, is to interview somebody who is homophobic, or somebody who is just straight, perhaps, and they don't know they're homophobic, but they just say, like, the little things.
Religious.
Like, the little things. Because I've heard, like, people say little things that stand out to me, like little jokes or little memes or things like that, where it's like, that can be homophobic, or sometimes it's like, is that a joke? It's like, and you being a gay man, where would you distinguish something as being homophobic or hateful, and then something being like, all right, that's just a joke?
First of all, with my hetero friends, I really don't joke like that with them. Like, I don't let my white friends say the N-word. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, okay, you saying faggot, punk, I could keep with my friends and we gonna laugh with it about that. Cause I mean, they're not funny words, but I mean, I think they funny words. Like, we like,
it's like you claimed it for yourself, kind of like how we claim nigga.
Yeah. But I think, I mean, if you say those words, you're homophobic. Fag bag, faggot, punk, sissy, all those.
You know, my grandma used to call me a sissy growing up.
That is terrible.
Yeah. And I never knew what that meant. And then, like, so growing up, and I think maybe that is the root of the issue, because I think perhaps, exactly, at home, because I think these hateful tendencies become normalized. So then when you grow up, maybe people just aren't aware, like, oh, that's hateful. Maybe the same way, I'm not excusing racism at all, but the same way of how, like, I try not to judge white people or anybody who is prejudiced, because I don't know their footsteps. So who am I? Is this like a random white dude walking down the street and he wants to call me the N-word? I'm not going to get mad, because it's like your great-grandfather, your grandfather, your father probably told you this, and you just don't know better. So who am I to respond with fire when you just came at me with fire? It's just going to be a bigger fire. There's no point. So I feel like that makes me the same way. It's like I said, my grandmother calling me a sissy. So then now I grow up thinking like, oh, it's okay to say. It's like, okay, so you're that, so we're all, and then not even knowing what that meant, because I didn't know what that meant. I just thought, because I was just, like I said, growing up, I was raised by a single mother, so they got heels in the house. I'm putting the heels on, walking around. I'm like dressing like Michael Jackson in my tight pants and my jacket. So she's saying, you're that. And I'm thinking like, I don't know what that means, but okay. I don't care.
Innocence.
Innocence, exactly. And I think
they've ruined it.
Yeah, I was about to ask you that. Do you think parents, in trying to protect the innocence of their children, that they end up destroying it?
Oh yeah, like it's religion, and not even I ain't gonna say all religion, but it's religion in what they feel.
I'll say this.
Right,
I say it's organized religion because that's my biggest beef.
Mm-hmm.
Being like a Rasta, it's like I can't say I'm not religious because it's a whole religious system. But what I'm not is a part of an organized religion that actively creates hate, divides people, racism, greed, wars. It's like no, we each have our own perspective within the faith. So maybe it just needs to be a culture shift in that way. People need to maybe step away from institutions like religion, or maybe even people need to step away from their families. Because I think sometimes we feel like we owe allegiance to our families, or we owe allegiance to our churches, or our schools, or any group of people, because humans naturally want to be accepted. And I think sometimes it's probably better off just to step away from things and to remember who you are. Because I was talking to my friend, and she was pretty much saying, who would we be without all these perspectives? Who would we be if you didn't grow up in your mom's house, or you didn't grow up with your family, you didn't grow up with that, and you were raised by an Asian family? You'd be a completely different person. A completely different person. It's like, who are you without all of your influences? So sometimes, perhaps, it's better for, and maybe this is some advice to our homophobes listening, step away from your religion. Step away from things. Give you some time. Fast. Take a fast. And really just sit there and don't even talk to God. Talk to the universe. And just understand who you are. And through understanding who you are, maybe you'll find respect for yourself. And by respecting yourself, you'll learn to respect others, I say.
Exactly.
And I think that's a good way to close this podcast. I want to thank you for coming on again and helping me build my perspectives, helping Southern University build their perspective, and hopefully in the future, through my help and through the help of our many peers, we can get this GSA or this, whatever it's going to be called, established here at Southern so my peers and my friends can have somewhere to go where they can feel safe.
Right. Indeed.
Thank you for coming on. And thank you guys for listening. Remember to follow us at 771 Alliance on all social media. This is SU Interviews. I'm your host, Charles Bar. See you later.